Welcome! Today we're diving into the delightful world of Korean cuisine with a step-by-step guide to making spicy and savory Korean spicy rice cakes, known as tteokbokki. Follow along as we prepare each delicious component, from a flavorful broth to a mouth-watering sauce, and learn some handy tips along the way to perfect your dish. Let's get started. Let's go over the ingredients for our Korean spicy rice cakes. First, we have 500 grams of Korean rice cakes, known as tteok. These are chewy and perfect for absorbing our spicy sauce. Next, we'll need 5 cups of water, and if you want a richer broth, you can add 3 dried anchovies and a piece of dried kelp. For the sauce, we'll use 3 tablespoons of gochujang, which is a Korean red chili paste, and 1 tablespoon of gochugaru, Korean red chili flakes, for an extra kick. Add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce for some umami, and 2 tablespoons of sugar to balance the heat. Mince 2 cloves of garlic and add 1 teaspoon of sesame oil for that nutty flavor. For the add-ins, slice 1 medium carrot and 1 medium onion, chop 2 green onions, and if you like, add 1 cup of fish cakes and 1 hard-boiled egg. Finally, we'll garnish with sesame seeds. Now, let's get cooking. Alright, let's start by preparing our broth. Grab a large pot and pour in 5 cups of water. Place it on the stove and turn the heat to high to bring the water to a boil. While we're waiting for the water to heat up, let's talk about an optional step that can really enhance the flavor of our tteokbokki. If you have them, add 3 dried anchovies and a piece of dried kelp to the boiling water. These ingredients will infuse the broth with a deep, savory taste. Once the water is boiling, let the anchovies and kelp simmer for about 10 minutes. After that, use a slotted spoon to remove them from the pot. Now, let's move on to preparing the sauce for our tteokbokki. Grab a small bowl and let's start mixing. First, add 3 tablespoons of gochujang, which is our Korean red chili paste, and then add 1 tablespoon of gochugaru, the Korean red chili flakes, for that extra heat. Next, pour in 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, which will add a nice umami flavor. To balance the spiciness, add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Mince 2 cloves of garlic and add them to the mix, followed by 1 teaspoon of sesame oil for a rich, nutty aroma. Now, using a spoon or a whisk, mix everything together until you have a smooth, consistent paste. This sauce is going to coat our rice cakes beautifully and give them that signature spicy sweet flavor. Now, let's cook the rice cakes. First, add the 500 grams of rice cakes to the pot with the boiling broth. Next, take the sauce we prepared earlier and pour it over the rice cakes in the pot. Use a spoon or a spatula to stir everything well, making sure the rice cakes are evenly coated with the sauce. Once everything is well mixed, reduce the heat to medium and let it simmer. We want to cook this for about 10 to 15 minutes. Remember to stir occasionally to prevent the rice cakes from sticking to the bottom of the pot. This simmering process allows the rice cakes to absorb all the delicious flavors from the sauce and broth, making them soft and flavorful. Alright, it's time to add our vegetables and any optional ingredients to the pot. Start by adding the sliced carrot and onion, and if you're using them, the fish cakes. Stir these into the pot and continue to simmer for another 5 to 7 minutes. We want to cook until the vegetables are tender but still have a bit of bite. Next, add the chopped green onions and halved hard-boiled eggs if you've decided to include them. Gently stir everything together to combine. These ingredients will add great texture and extra layers of flavor to our tteokbokki. Keep simmering for a couple more minutes to let all the flavors meld together. Now it's time to serve our delicious tteokbokki. Carefully transfer the cooked tteokbokki to a serving plate or bowl, making sure to get all the rice cakes and vegetables. Use a spoon to drizzle some of that spicy sauce over the top for extra flavor. For the finishing touch, sprinkle some sesame seeds over the tteokbokki. This adds a nice crunch and a bit of nuttiness. And there you have it, Our Korean spicy rice cakes are ready to be enjoyed. Serve them hot and enjoy the rich, spicy flavors. And lastly, here are some helpful tips for making perfect tteokbokki. If you're using refrigerated or frozen rice cakes, soak them in warm water for about 10 minutes before cooking to soften them. To adjust the spiciness, modify the amount of gochugaru and gochujang to match your spice tolerance. If you don't have dried anchovies and kelp for the broth, you can use plain water or a light vegetable broth as an alternative. For the sauce consistency, if it's too thick, add a little more water. If it's too thin, let it simmer a bit longer to thicken. Always taste and adjust the seasoning towards the end of cooking. You can add a bit more sugar or soy sauce if needed. Enjoy your homemade tteokbokki.